It's Monday, February 7th, and this is now on HNN.
I think it is an idea whose time has come.
An airline injects new life into the debate about getting a national no-fly list for unruly passengers. I'm Elise Preston with the challenges to getting the idea off the ground.
And I know the tourism industry will be looking forward to that.
After 2 years of closed borders, Australia welcomes the world back.
And here at home, there's more pressure to ease COVID rules as cases decline.
We're going to sort of take this day by day.
We've got these stories, plus we'll take you to Los Angeles, where Super Bowl excitement is just starting to ramp up. That's just ahead. Coming up on This Is Now. Hey everyone, hope you're having a great Aloha Monday. You got Jonathan and Ashley here, right here in the H&N Digital Center. We have so much news to get to. Let's start with today's talker.
Delta Airlines wants the government's help in cracking down on unruly passengers. Elise Preston reports from New York.
Amid skyrocketing cases of air rage incidents like these, Delta Airlines is asking the federal government to put passengers convicted of unruly behavior on a national no-fly list. CBS News obtained this letter from Delta CEO Ed Bastian to the Justice Department, saying a list would serve as a strong symbol of the consequences of not complying with crew member instruction. Airline industry analyst Henry Hartefelt.
I think it is an idea whose time has come. No one, whether an airline employee or a passenger, should be subject to verbal or physical attacks.
The FAA says there were more than 5,000 reports of unruly passengers in 2021. Most were tied to compliance with mask wearing. The agency is now partnering with the TSA to remove disruptive travelers from TSA PreCheck eligibility. Most airlines have their own no-fly list for unruly passengers, but they don't share them with each other. Industry analysts say they could share them, or they could hand the names to a federal agency.
What information should be collected? How is that shared? And how do you make sure that the information is not abused?
Hartefelt says a national list could still be months, if not years away.
Safety is our job one.
Lynn Montgomery is the union president for Southwest flight attendants. She says one way to keep everyone safe now is to keep alcohol service suspended while there are mask mandates.
There is a little bit where profit is being put first when we feel that it is unsafe.
Next week, Southwest joins a growing list of airlines resuming alcohol service. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Some really big news to report regarding a major international travel partner with the islands. Australia says it will open its borders back up to vaccinated travelers at the end of this month. Here's what Scott Morrison, Prime Minister, had to say about that.
It's almost 2 years since we took the decision to close the borders to Australia. National Security Cabinet has decided today that Australia will reopen our borders to all remaining visa holders on the 21st of February of this year. We have been progressively opening our borders since November of last year. Those programs have proceeded very successfully. Whether it was the programs we had in place with New Zealand or Singapore, and then with Japan and South Korea opening up to international students and backpackers and economic migrants who are coming to Australia. That will now be extended principally to international visitors who will be able to return. The condition is you must be double vaccinated to come to Australia. That's the rule. Everyone is expected to abide by it, and it's very important that people understand that requirement if they're seeking to come to Australia. But if you're double vaccinated, we look forward to welcoming you back to Australia. And I know the tourism industry will be looking forward to that, and over the next 2 weeks they will have the opportunity both for visitors to be coming and for them to be gearing up to welcome international visitors back to Australia.
Two low-fare airlines are planning to become one. Spirit and Frontier Airlines announced a merger today worth $6.6 billion. The new airline would leapfrog JetBlue and Alaska to become the fifth largest domestic airline. It's not known which name the new airline will take or if it will fly under a new one.
Now, tensions at the Russia-Ukraine border are extremely high, and world leaders are trying to deter a potential Russian invasion. Now, we want the latest on what's happening there, so we want to bring in Hawaii News Now's White House correspondent, John Decker. Thanks for being with us, John. Now, officials say there are more than 100,000 Russian troops at the border. What are the chances of finding a diplomatic solution at this time?
Well, there's a chance, a real chance, in the sense that today you have the French President Emmanuel Macron meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And this is not the first time they're meeting, trying to find a diplomatic solution to forestalling an invasion by Russian troops into Ukraine. In addition to that, here in the U.S., at the White House, President Biden meeting with his German counterpart, the German Chancellor Scholz. And the reason behind that meeting is making certain that if Russia, it's a big if, but if Russia illegally enters into Ukraine and the U.S. imposes sanctions upon Russia, that Germany will be on board imposing those tough sanctions of their own.
Right. And, you know, Congress is considering these sanctions. What's the latest on those talks?
Well, that Senate bill is stalled because the Senate right now is out of session, but it does have some bipartisan support in the Senate. There's a similar bill that's moving its way through the House of Representatives. The big disagreement that the White House has with these particular pieces of legislation is the White House wants to have the threat of those tough sanctions rather than imposing those sanctions before Russia does anything in terms of entering into Ukraine illegally.
And what are the next steps from this point, John? Are there going to be more meetings and discussions with, you know, NATO, Russian officials? Is Russia, are they saying that they are considering an invasion, or what are they saying at this time?
You know, Ashley, I think that Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, is looking for an out. I think that the pressure that has been put to bear on Russia, not only from the U.S., but from our NATO allies, our European partners, has had an effect. And so that's why that meeting that he is having today with French President Emmanuel Macron is so important. I think that what Macron will convey to President Putin is perhaps a safe a face-saving measure that will allow a diplomatic solution to win the day as it relates to this particular situation.
All right, we'll definitely be watching that. Now, switching gears a little bit, John, so another big story there on Capitol Hill. Does the U.S. Supreme Court, now with the nominee, does the White House believe it can get bipartisan support for President Biden's nominee, whoever that may be?
It does. In fact, there are 3 Republicans that the White House is really focusing on in terms of getting that bipartisan support. One is Lindsey Graham. He's actually a Republican that sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee, who's actually already voiced support for one potential nominee that President Biden is considering. In addition to that, you have Lisa Murkowski, Republican from Alaska, and Susan Collins, Republican of Maine. Those are 3 senators who have voted for Biden nominees for federal appointments the most. And that's the reason why the Biden administration, President Biden in particular, believes he can get bipartisan support for when he names his nominee.
All right, Hawaii News Now's White House correspondent, John Decker, thanks for always keeping us up to date.
Thank you, Ashley.
The nation is marking another grim milestone. More than 900,000 people in the United States have died from COVID-19 since the pandemic began. Congress is holding a moment of silence this evening to mark the somber occasion. Here at home, the State Department of Health confirmed 833 new coronavirus cases. There were no new fatalities here. So, as the latest COVID surge seems to be waning here in the state, there is now more pressure to ease COVID restrictions. We asked Mayor Rick Blangiardi about that in a recent interview. Here's what he had to say.
Are you thinking of loosening other like safe access?
No, at this point right now, we don't have any real restrictions in place other than safe access to Oahu. We're going to continue with that program probably for the foreseeable future. But at the end of the day right now, we're encouraging people to get boosted. I'm very pleased to learn that we have well over 500,000 people now have been boosted. We're going to sort of take this day by day. We're taking nothing for granted, but hopefully we're going to be past Omicron with no new wave in front of us, and we get on with our lives.
Well, the Super Bowl is this Sunday. Our Steve Uehara and Ian Schuring are in Los Angeles, and they'll be providing live coverage for us all week. Here's the first report they filed for This Is Now.
Hi, Jonathan and Ashley. We're here right outside of SoFi Stadium. We're going to get a tour of that tomorrow. But in the meantime, we want to give you a little lay of the land and see where we are exactly.
Yeah, so this dais that we're on, this big platform, is set up for all of the TV networks to do their live shots all week. We'll get Scott, our news director / photographer, to give you a pan to the right. This is the platform that's going to be set up for all of the media outlets who are here covering the game to do their live shots, just like we are in this game. For the rest of the week. To the right of where you're looking now with this platform set up, that's where the media headquarters is. All the trailers for the news networks, for stations like us, local TV affiliates, workspaces for everyone is down there. Behind us, behind the camera actually, is the site where the billionaire owner of the LA Clippers, Steve Ballmer, is going to be building a brand new arena for the Clippers. On the other side of the stadium, in fact, if you could look straight through it, you would see the LA Forum, which is where the Showtime Lakers made themselves home. And really the whole media operation, the media headquarters for the Super Bowl, isn't here at the stadium. It's at the LA Convention Center.
That's right. More than a stone's throw away, but there's a lot going on over there. The NFL Experience, which we got to see yesterday, unfortunately, it's closed Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but we're going to take a look at it and bring it to you a little bit later this week. What that is, it's a very interactive experience. They got a lot of videos. They got obstacle courses for the kids and for adults. And
some who are both.
Yes. and a lot of memorabilia to really get the audience and the fans captivated. But that's also where they have Radio Row. So a number of national talk show hosts are set up over there. And we're hoping to make the trip out over there and maybe talk to some of them.
Yeah, that's going to be our goal for the day, hopefully to get some of those media guys. We're also going to bring you later on tonight a story that you did about the ties that this area, that LA has with the Rams and the Lakers and the Clippers to Honolulu.
That's right. And we've talked about LA being a mecca. 11 pro sports teams, and all of them have had a lot of success. I mean, most notably the Dodgers and the Lakers have won championships very recently. And even our mayor, Rick Blangiardi, has mentioned recently, hey, maybe now is a great time to reach out to the NBA and these teams, specifically the Clippers and the Lakers, to see if maybe they want to do training camp again in the islands.
And who knows, if the Rams end up winning the Super Bowl, it might be time to invite them back for training camp as well.
There you go. That's right. It was just a couple of years ago as well.
Yeah.
All right. Back to you.
Not jealous at all.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. So we got snubbed on Olympics over the summer.
We couldn't go to Japan.
Yeah, we couldn't go this year. And now we can't go to the Super Bowl. What? Cross your fingers for next time, Ashley.
I know. It's okay.
All we can do is hope the best for the weather. Let's take you live outside. Looks a little gloomy, but I'm being told there is going to be a dry out and some dry conditions in the days ahead. Here's Guy Hoggy.
So we're going to have drier conditions because we're going to lose the trade winds by sometime late tomorrow. And then by Wednesday, light and variable winds take over. And that means not much organized rainfall. If anything, maybe some afternoon clouds, perhaps a few afternoon downpours, but they won't be widespread. And that's going to be the case all the way through Friday with those light winds. And then the trade winds come bouncing back on Saturday, and that means we'll likely see over the weekend a few windward and Malka showers. Really not much rain at all in the forecast. So we're going to have real beautiful weather over the next several days. We've got lots of sunshine on tap. Again, a few windward and Malka showers today, maybe some spotty showers from Wednesday through Friday with the light winds, and then maybe some windward and Malka showers over the weekend. But we're also expecting a lot of sunshine over the stretch of the forecast.
And here's a look at that medal count from the Winter Games. The Russian Olympic Committee is in the lead with 7 medals total, followed by Canada, the Netherlands, and Italy. The United States has 3 medals, all silver.
Now here are some of the headlines coming from China. Team USA figure skater Vincent Zhao will not compete in Tuesday's men's single skating short program competition. American skiing icon Michaela Schifrin crashed out of the grand slalom, saying, quote, "I won't ever get over this." And China's teen skiing sensation Eileen Gu survived a fall in qualification to make it through to the finals of the women's free ski big air competition. One athlete with Hawaii ties is getting a lot of attention for his opening ceremony outfit. It's because he braved the chilly temperatures without a shirt. Nathan Crumpton is the only athlete representing American Samoa in the Winter Olympics in 28 years. He's competing in the skeleton, and the only one to go shirtless in the nippy 20-degree weather. Now, the 36-year-old was born in Nairobi, Kenya, but lives in Park City, Utah. Stephanie Lum chatted with him.
And apparently you've made quite a splash. I mean, globally. What's your reaction to all the attention that you're getting?
Luckily, I've been largely isolated from the attention. I've been in this bubble zone here, and I've been forced to go to the track. I've been watching the training sessions. I've got training of my own to occupy myself. So surprisingly, I haven't noticed it that much, and I've very much got a set schedule as it is. So I've heard it's been a great reaction to it, and that's fantastic. It achieves everything that we wanted to achieve, and we brought some great attention to the whole Pacific and to all of the island nations there. And I think that's wonderful. That's really a great thing.
So were you cold?
Surprisingly, I was not that cold. The only thing that got really cold were my hands, because the flags had been sitting out there in sub-freezing temperatures, and they're made of metal. And so I gripped the flagpole, and the first thing that got cold were my hands within about 30 seconds. But prior to that, I'd been jumping up and down and trying to stay warm. I had a really nice warm Columbia jacket that kept me toasty on the inside. And so I took that off right at the last second, and I was good to go for about 7 minutes worth of exposure, and it was all smooth sailing.
Right on. And we heard that you also have a connection or some Hawaii ties. And can you kind of share what that is with us here in Hawaii and why that connection is so special to you?
Of course, I have deep Hawaiian connections. My grandmother, she was born there, Melvia Chang. She was born and raised in Honolulu. She graduated from Roosevelt High School. She volunteered at Pearl Harbor. My late uncle Solomon Ka'ulukukui, he's a Hall of Famer at UH, and plenty of extended family. There's a great photo on my website from a family reunion that we had back in 1997, where we had literally hundreds of people gathered at Ala Moana Park for this gigantic family reunion. And so I'm coming back regularly for these reunions. I did my off-season training in 2014. I was living in Kaneohe, and I'm always back there. It really does feel like a home for me, and I certainly plan on coming back in the future too.
Woohoo! All right. Thank you so much, Nathan, for talking with us.
And have you met this guy yet? Beijing Winter Olympics mascot Bing Duin Duin, otherwise known as BDD, is a big hit at these games. The mascot is getting huge cheers from crowds, sometimes louder than those heard for athletes competing. BDD can be easily spotted at the event sites, in the stands, and on signage and flags. Now, while stuffed versions of Bing Duin Duin are given out to medalists, there are reports that souvenir shops are already sold out.
And fresh Olympics coverage kicks off at 3 p.m. right here on KHNL Today. You can watch Nathan Chen begin his pursuit of individual gold in the men's short program, and the women of Team USA Hockey take on their greatest rivals, Canada. That's your Winter Games update.
That was quite an update.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots still to come, too. Let's see what the internet's talking about. You know, Nintendo Switch reached a really impressive milestone. Listen to this. The product has surpassed lifetime sales of the company's Wii console. Remember Wii?
Yeah, loved that.
Yeah, that bowling game, all that. The Switch has made the company over $100 million, and 18.9 million of them were sold in the last 9 months of 2021 alone, and around 24 million units the year before that. The Switch has only been on the market for 5 years, and it makes sense that the last 2 years were sort of a little higher because of the pandemic, of course. Everyone wants to play their video games. I had a great weekend of video games, was on Oculus VR for hours and hours and hours playing Beat Saber, and I still didn't get better.
It was a good workout, right?
Yeah, it's a good workout, and they came out with the Lady Gaga release, which on easy I can almost do.
Right.
Almost do
Oh, I
it.
would love to see that. Well, if you are a fan of Taylor Swift, listen to this. You could get college credit for studying her. I'll explain. So this semester, New York University is offering the course Topics in Recorded Music, Taylor Swift. Now, it's taught by Rolling Stone magazine staff writer and self-proclaimed superfan Brittany Spanos. Now, the course explores the appeal and aversion to the pop star, Swift's music and lyrics, copyright and ownership, and the impact of social media on the pop music industry.
I'm sure that class is going to fill up.
Oh,
fast,
absolutely.
For sure.
And check this out. Samsung's newest device is helping the planet fights in reducing plastics. Now, the electronics company has incorporated plastic from repurposed fish nets into its products. Now, the new material will be revealed Wednesday when Samsung launches its new Galaxy devices. And the company says 640,000 tons of fishing nets are abandoned and discarded every year, and they linger in the ocean, we know, trapping marine life, damaging our coral reefs, and sometimes ending up in our food and water sources.
Good idea.
Yeah.
All right, it's been a while since we had some royal news. And as of yesterday, Queen Elizabeth marked 70 years on the throne, making her the longest serving English monarch. Awesome. And that's the topic of today's Good News Now, and here's Tina Kraus with that.
A traditional 41-gun salute across the UK, celebrating a British monarch like no other. The royal salute kicks off Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee, honoring her 70 years on the throne.
This is a woman who, from her 20s through to the age of 95, has done nothing but put the United Kingdom first.
The Queen ascended to the throne in 1952 after her father's death. 7 decades later, it seems Her Majesty is looking down the royal line. She issued a surprising statement Saturday saying when her son, Prince Charles, becomes king, his second wife, Camilla, should have the title of Queen Consort.
I think it's high time that she made that decision. I'm delighted that she did.
For now, the Queen remains on the job. Here she is reading a congratulatory message from President Biden.
Oh, that's very kind.
The UK will officially celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee when the weather warms up in June. There will be parades, parties, and maybe even a boost for tourism.
We're absolutely expecting to welcome lots of international visitors to come and celebrate with us 70 years of the Queen's reign.
It's unclear which public events the Queen may attend, but behind the scenes, she's already feeling the love. And her face is everywhere in the UK as millions honor the only monarch most have ever known. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
All right, we have time for one more fun story.
Yeah, so surfing legend Kelly Slater, he's turning 50 on Friday, but over the weekend, he proved once again why he's the GOAT, and he surfed better than anyone at any age at Backdoor.
I have dedicated my life to what I do. I love it more than anything in the world. I sometimes hate it more than anything in the world. It just has everything for me. And the whole time out there, you know, when you're in the lead, it can feel like you got a hand on the trophy, but you don't yet. You get a little bit lax in the heat, and things change real quick, and the energy changes. And I've worked my life at this wave since I was 12 years old.
Now, he had a near perfect score of 18.22 out of a possible 20, and this was his 8th championship tour win at Pipeline.
Awesome
yeah.
stuff there. You guys, we have so much coverage still ahead from the Olympics. KHNL coverage gets underway with the Olympic Zone coming up this afternoon, and then your NBC coverage starts at 3 o'clock. A number of sporting events in the lineup, and a lot of developments coming out of there today, too. You guys, we'll be back here tomorrow for the